Hey there, everybody. This is Brandon with the Annie and Brandon Yeager real estate team here with House Rock Realty. Welcome to this Real Estate Rocks episode. And in this episode, what I want to do is I want to look at three separate things. We're going to take a look at Pennsylvania, how it's doing compared to the rest of the United States as a whole, market-wise. We're going to take a look at Westmoreland County, and then we're also going to dive into specific neighborhoods and specific zip codes in Westmoreland County, primarily in the central Westmoreland County corridor. We're going to look at like Latrobe, Unity, Greensburg, Hempfield, and then North Huntington, Irwin. And you can kind of also get a good feel for everything around that. And let's just go ahead and like dive into it. And let's take a look at what's going on right now here in the first quarter 2026 real estate market. Okay, so first thing we're going to take a look at is let's see how Pennsylvania is stacking up against the rest of the United States as far as home price forecast. So across the entire state of Pennsylvania, the average is projecting a 12-month forecast of 3.5%. So what this tells us is that across most of the state, if you're planning to purchase a home here in 2026, and if you're hoping that the prices are going to drop down in most parts of the state, that is not going to be the case. Most cases, it's going to continue to be a slow and steady climb going up. According to the RE Venture app, and it's interesting because what you'll see here is New England and northeastern United States, we're holding up really strong. We are doing extremely well compared to many other parts of the country. You'll notice that Tennessee is down 4%. The Nashville area had tons of new construction, and over the last 2 to 3 years, in particular, that there's so many areas of the country that have been having so many homes being built, and it was a little crazy. And now there's literally new home subdivisions across the United States, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Las Vegas. Some areas are being hit so hard. They're overvalued in many of these cases by like 40%. As a matter of fact, if we come up here to Idaho, now they're only showing a 12-month forecast loss of 1%. But if we come in and look at some of these counties here in Idaho, as far as overvalued percentages, some of these places in like right there, there's one that's 42% overvalued in Blaine County, 36%, 41%. These are all areas that are getting hit very hard. We come down here to Nevada, Las Vegas area, 30% overvalued, 40% overvalued. And these people are going to, it's going to take a while for them to get everything back rectified. So anyway, so Pennsylvania is holding up very well compared to many parts of the United States. And we're going to continue to look at that here a little bit closer. So while we're at the county level, let's go ahead and dive into Pennsylvania. And let's take a look at some of the things here. So interestingly enough, Pennsylvania has quite a few counties that are overvalued. And what that means is the typical home price here for Fayette County is $140,000, yet the fair home value is $165,000 according to RE Venture. So that means that most of the homes you'd be buying right now are a pretty good buy in terms of value. We're going to look at some other data here that makes you want to probably caution or exercise some caution, especially looking at it from an investor perspective. Whenever we look at birth-death ratios and everything like that. But home price forecast, let's take a look at Pennsylvania here as a whole by county. So Westmoreland County is looking at a 2.6% across the average. Allegheny County 1.7%. We have Somerset. They're saying a 7.1% potential increase between November 25 and November 26. And you'll notice some other parts over here as we go over eastern Pennsylvania, 5.2%, Lancaster's 5.1%, York 4.3%. So Westmoreland County, that's most of you who are watching this video are probably going to be from Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, if I had to guess. We're hanging by, which by the way, if you want to make sure that you receive all of these updates in the future, if you want to head over to houserockrealty.com, you can sign up for the newsletter, and I'll be sure to make sure that you get this emailed into your inbox every single time I have an update or I also have a Real Estate Rocks newsletter that I send out some regular emails on that you might find enjoyable. Feel free, sign up and subscribe, and be kept up to date. So Westmoreland County, let's keep looking at this. So home price forecast for Westmoreland County, 2.6%. Overvalued percentage, only 0.9%. So Westmoreland County is very solid. So let's look at this from sellers. From a seller's perspective, again, no rush, no pressure. Right now, it's still probably a slight seller's market. There's not a lot of inventory, which we could definitely take a look at that. The for sale inventory has historically for Westmoreland County been, if we go back to 2017, there was 1,400 homes that were on the market. And right now coming in December 25, there's 733. So the inventory has been slowly building the last several years and getting back to normal, quote unquote, but we're still significantly less inventory wise than whenever the interest rates were like nearly giving money away and people were purchasing secondary homes and vacation properties and everything along those lines. But the days on market as well is still holding in there pretty low, 67. In the past, maybe we were running about 3 months was the average days on market for a home to be marketed and sold. And right now we're, little over 2 months. So we have this home price forecast, and again, it's showing that we're going to probably, is across the board, Westmoreland County, we're going to continue to do pretty well here this upcoming year, as are most parts of Pennsylvania. We're going to continue to see some growth in the sales prices of the homes, mainly keeping up with inflation. Because as a whole, for at least southwestern Pennsylvania, we really don't have a lot of people moving in and out. It's more, most of our increases are inflation-based versus appreciation due to people moving in and large increases because of this huge competition for homes in a certain area. It's not as typical here in Westmoreland County. So now that we've kind of looked at how Pennsylvania is doing as a whole, and we've looked at Westmoreland County, how it's doing across the state, let's dive into some of these zip codes and look at things in a little more micro market type analysis. Okay, so here we are. We're taking a look at this on a zip code level, and just so you know, full disclosure on the RE Venture app, a lot of these zip codes, they have very few sales in some of these small towns. You just need to be aware of that, and kind of you have to be very cautious, because like if you only have like 1, 2, 3 sales in some of these zip codes, whenever there's a high price point or low price point or anything along those lines, it throws your average off a lot. So you really need to have some of these more populated areas in Westmoreland County, such as Latrobe, Greensburg, Irwin, North Huntington, Murraysville. Even as you start looking up into those areas and you see how many sales there are, it all starts to kind of make a little more sense with the data. And if there's one sale that's really high or one sale that's really low, it doesn't skew your data out of whack, because you're averaging stuff. And especially whenever we're able to look at it from a perspective of history and 5 years, 10 years back. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and let's dive into what does it look like here for some of our local municipalities. And if we go into the 15601 zip code, which is Greensburg and Hempfield Township primarily, we're talking a 12-month forecast of 4.6%, which is very strong. So the November 25 value was 238, and the November 26 value is projected to be about 249. So if you're in that area and you've been trying to see if the prices are going to come down, you're going to probably be a little saddened, because they're going to continue to go up. But I'd say as a whole, that's probably a pretty good healthy growth for an area. Latrobe Unity Township is a growth of about 1.1%. So it's a little less than inflation. It has maybe a little bit of pullback there, but there's still going to continue to be a slow increase in the value. And with 15642, we're talking Irwin, North Huntington Township primarily. It's actually going to have a retraction. It's projecting of about just under 1%. So November 25 was 252,000, looking at maybe a slight decrease down to $250,000. And we could take a look at a lot of this other data, and I'll probably make a separate video where we can kind of take a look at different investor metrics, cap rates, average rental prices for houses, and what that all looks like. But the big thing to know, most of Westmoreland County here, the central part, home price forecast, gonna probably still be continuing to increase throughout most of the county. Overvalued percentage. Most of these areas, actually Latrobe is showing that it's about a 5% undervalued. So that means that if you're buying a home in Latrobe right now, you're probably getting a pretty decent deal as to what it could actually be valued at. Greensburg, 1.1% overvaluation, and 15642, 3.7% overvaluation. So again, nothing too crazy like some of these other markets in the United States that we were looking at where they're 40% overvalued. Like those people, imagine if you had a property that you paid, let's say, $500,000 for, and it's maybe now really only worth $300,000, or that's what somebody would be able to afford to pay for it. Those people they're going through some heartache right now, and the equity loss is real. But here in our local areas, we're doing pretty strong with everything. Days on market, again, we're hanging in there pretty well on most of the areas. I think the biggest thing to be aware of, home price forecast, overvaluation. One thing that I do want to point out here, Greensburg, Hempfield, Westmoreland County as a whole, our birth to death ratio, it's a new metric that RE Venture has taken a look at, but it's only available on a county level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here to county, because there's a couple things that I think from a long-term perspective are very important for us to know under two reasons. One is homeowners here in Westmoreland County, and two, as real estate investors, if you're looking to buy investment grade property, whether it's multi-unit, single family, or even if you're going to do something commercial, or storage or anything along those lines, it's important to kind of have an idea of what that crystal ball might look like. And what I want to do here is I want to switch over to demographic, and I'm going to go down to this birth death ratio, because there's a couple staggering statistics in southwestern Pennsylvania that we should all be very aware of, and it's going to make a huge difference, not necessarily this year, but it definitely makes a difference 5 years, 10 years, one generation down the road. So the birth death ratio, if it's a 1.0, that means there's one birth for every death. If you have 1.5, then that means there's 1.5 births for every one death. Westmoreland County, let's kind of zoom in this here. Let's take a look at the birth death ratio for Westmoreland County. It was up around 1 back in the 90s. It's come down to the 0.8s. It actually dropped down to, we were 0.59, 0.52, and it's actually kind of coming up a little bit here. So maybe it's flattened out, but the birth death ratio right now for Westmoreland County is about 0.62. So there's going to continue in numbers wise, just to give you an idea. There were, in 2024, there was 2,877 births, and there was 4,600 deaths. So there was essentially a loss of 1,600 people across the county, just due to age and less births. But not a huge increase, decrease, but something to be aware of is Greene County and Fayette County. Greene County is 0.3. They had 147 births versus 480 deaths. And Fayette County had 709 births versus 1,923 deaths. And what's kind of shocking is whenever you look at this in a little closer view here, this area down in here is what is really needing to be taken a closer look at. So they were averaging about a point, they were 0.8, 0.7, and then all of a sudden, since probably right around 2020, it has just plummeted as far as the birth death ratio, the number of younger people who are, as a matter of fact, if we took, and we can take a look at the age to see, and I'm positive it's going to show that this is now trending towards an older population in Fayette County. Whenever this type of stuff starts to happen, you're going to be losing the younger people and a future work base that's going to be able to provide for taxes and infrastructure, and it's going to put more pressure on those ones who are there. It's going to become more and more difficult for them to make ends meet and be the people who are helping to provide that income base for the county. You'll also notice that, in most of the cities where you have a younger crowd oftentimes and more jobs in the cities, you end up having more of a 1.0 or closer to 1.0 birth to death ratio. And as we come out here towards Philadelphia, Lancaster County, 1.25. So these are all healthy, growing areas that are they're going to continue to see increases in population, whether it's jobs, people moving there, younger people. Those areas are just going to continue to see some increases. But Westmoreland County, it's kind of evened out for the most part. But Fayette and Greene County, there's definitely some things that would cause some concern and some pause to take a look at some of those different things. So, all right, I think that's everything for this video. If you have any questions or anything that you're wondering about that I could maybe do an upcoming video for you that you specifically wanted to take a look at, send it over. We'll dive into it and we'll take a look at it. Hopefully you have a better idea of what things are looking like, both for Pennsylvania as a whole, plus the Westmoreland County area here, because that's where most of us who are watching this video work and play at, is different parts of Westmoreland County. How healthy is it? What does the future look like? And how are things going to continue to move so that you can make the best and wisest decisions for your family? Because as I've talked about before, listen, the average homeowner is going to have 3 big home purchases in their lifetime. There's going to be the original home that they it's going to be a starter type home, and then the second one's going to be maybe a move up one where you're adding to your family and you need some more space, a little more freedom to roam, and then the third one's going to be as you start to enter into that retirement stage, or what that final stage of your life might look like, potentially looking at downsizing, kind of, collapsing some things down a little bit and saving some space, saving some money, and preparing for those golden years of your life. So, and by the way, if you have any questions on anything, or if I can help be of assistance as you're considering some of these big life transitions, I would love to be able to help you talk through those. And if you just want to give me a call or check out houserockrealty.com. You can take a look there and reach out to me, and my team would be happy to assist you. I will talk to you in the next video. Take care. Thanks a lot.